which is hay asthma. But in modern terminology, it's not only hay asthma, it's toxic reactions where the mucus, where the lungs turn into a membrane that just is making mucus, almost impossible to breathe. Much like pleurisy and that sort of thing. And it's in reaction to various pollutants, carbon monoxide, urban situation, sometimes stress related, but in my particular case, although there was some stress and drinking lots of coffee and so on and so forth, when I went into this health, natural foods mode, that when it settled in my lungs, I was just like into the hospital under an oxygen tent once, and I decided to go back to smoking pot regular and make pot and tea.
Smoking pot?
Well, I had, I'd smoked with musician friends. It's a long story. Yeah, on and off. I had been, smoking on and off. But in '66, actually in about '64, I started smoking fairly regularly again. Every month or so, I'd be with somebody and smoke and that sort of stuff. And then, like I say, in '66, I started using it in teas as a result of some information that I found. But anyway, I started using it in teas for this Vasco Corsia and smoking regularly again. And that summer, I heard tell that the Bureau of Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs, it wasn't even the DEA yet, had sent 2 agents up to the state legislature, the Vermont Assembly, to convince them to make LSD a dangerous drug and to increase the penalties for marijuana possession. And I had friends that were psychologists, psychiatrists, lawyers, all kinds of professional people that I knew that had taken LSD, that had done set and settings with people, had been in Ford and Rockefeller research things, from I heard about it first like in '58, '59. Friends of mine that had taken it the first time. And I thought this was absurd. I was just totally pissed that they would dare to come up here and think that they could.
You were living in Vermont at the time?
That they could come up here and, because they were highfalutin guys from the city with, attaché cases in those days, that was the beginning of that kind of crowd. And just hornswoggle a bunch of cow pasture type Vermont legislators because they were going to give them federal bucks. And because of this mess, this war protest thing that was building, that they could sense over drugs and the culture, right? The peace protest thing, ban the bomb, and the peace marches. And so, in let's see, '66, it must have been about, I forget, maybe October, anyway, whatever month it was. I called my state senator and I told him that I was willing to show him proof that professional people, people that own property, voters, even some Republicans, and even some guys that had come back from Vietnam. Now, we already had guys, paratroopers and stuff that had been coming back in '64, '65, who had brought back, seeds from the East and grown them in Vermont. And we were growing it and smoking it ourselves. And we thought if they were going to do anything about LSD, they ought to make it a controlled substance and let people, in professional people, in a proper setting, perhaps at Waterbury, where the state asylum and all that was, they could provide, and they did. The state provided a place. They made it a controlled substance, not a dangerous drug. And it was the first liberalizations of the marijuana statutes in 30 years. Mm-hmm. As a result of me and 3 other people that came forward, and I supplied. I mean, in my book, I one time somebody interviewed me and said, "Well, then that must have been the first time that anybody, arranged to give a state legislature evidence that we were growing the best herb, like Thai sticks and stuff, quality in the state legislature." I had to paste it up in the toilet in the Adams Morgan Lounge across the street from the state capitol, and a legislator, they came and got it and split with it.
Really?
And after they got through seeing it and all looking at it and everything, it was placed back. But the guy put it in a different sink. Instead of putting it in the first sink where he got it, he put it in the second sink. Just stuffed it up on it. And we said, well, we won't claim that we didn't get it, because I was in the toilet with my feet up, sitting on the. You know what I mean? So he came in and he saw that it was cool and no one was there, right? And he took it. And I knew, they went out and they all of them were at the table, and they were all there for lunch, and they're all, just passed the bag around and smelled it and stuff. And a couple of them stuck their fingers into it, and when they came, while they're doing that, I'm just staying in the bathroom. So, our people are just watching everything that they're doing, and pretty soon the guy takes it and he runs it back into the bathroom and boom, he stuffs it in there. He was so fucking nervous, he stuffed it in the middle sink. So we were gonna always say, "Hey, what'd you guys do with our herb?" And we decided no. We claimed that we got, because they were serious. Did you get it back? And we said, "Oh yes, sir." Yes, we got it back.
So they liberalized their laws and...
So in that sense, that's how I became involved in that thing politically. The first time I did anything about it, we affected something.
And is that still in effect in Vermont?
That I don't know. Vermont has had a strange history. I didn't know this last time when we had the gathering, that this was the time that Vermont became the largest. It became the largest volume number of confiscated plants outside of California. That's Vermont last summer. So, as Mr. Homegrown, grassroots, we started here in Vermont. I have to take credit for some of it. I mean, serious business. I encouraged people to start growing in 1966, because as soon as we won that, I was in the JCs at the time, and the state of Michigan wanted to know how we had come to the conclusions that we had to liberalize things. And we had done a statewide survey of drug use patterns with high school kids. And Senator Leahy, who's now a senator and the head of the agricultural committee, and also on the Senate Judiciary, he was a county attorney at Chittenden County. And he was one of the prosecuting attorneys that agreed with this profile that we devised, so that no one could read it and figure out what county was being reported, so that no prosecuting attorney could use any of this information to begin to start harassing kids over smoking pot or taking LSD, because they had given their word on this that they wouldn't. And he was the guy, Leahy was the guy. But when we had Chittenden County, for sure the rest of them came along. But nevertheless, he saw the benefit of it. Let us find out who it is that we were ready to prosecute and send to jail for this before we get started. And when they found out who it was all their own kids and stuff. Why they backed up. But that set the pattern for the state of Michigan, which did 2-year study just like we did in Vermont, based on RJC study. And then they passed basically the first decriminalization statute was in Michigan, I do believe, 68. Check it out and see if that's not true.